Yeah.
Okay, I'm sold.
So
Shared
we,
it to my page and titled it, and
That's
what have I missed?
Well, we just figured out every problem in the world. So we left the one with Navalny for you.
Oh, God.
Have you heard about what happened to him today? Yeah. Anyway.
I haven't heard anything about him other than they had moved him to an even worse gulag, far away from Moscow. As the elections are coming up.
Yeah, he's it's really quite sad. He came on the news and they actually let him talk. And he said that they give him 10 minutes to eat his lunch, and it's two glasses of hot water and a piece of rotten bread. And if he doesn't finish it within that period of time, and he says it's practically impossible to do that because of the hot water, you can't drink it fast. Right. He said then they take whatever else is away and he has to go back to work. So they're just trying to make it just horrible for him, even worse than it was. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And there was only there's only 2 hours of daylight there, and it's like negative whatever degrees. I mean, it's like the worst place in the world. So yeah.
Well, anyway. You know what? I have a feeling that he's going to survive all that, and he is going to come out, and people are going to flock around him, and they are going to see him as the alternative, as the savior, as the guy who really kind of triumphed over everything.
Absolutely.
Right? And against Putin.
Against all odds. Yeah. He's in a way, he's sort of more, it's not like Nelson Mandela, but it's the same type of thing, you know? So, yeah.
Yes.
So anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we got a question here. Will the GOP flying monkeys, I like that, have another circus moment like when Hunter showed up? Oh, we were talking about that earlier, David. We thought that was the best. That was the
best. Because I know Hunter's in negotiations with them again. I think anytime that they can actually prepare for it, they stand a mild chance. But it is just so funny when he drops on them. They have no ability to ad lib or do anything on their feet.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. And they think they're so smart because they come up with, like Margie and Nancy Mace, they come up with such smarmy things to say, but they look what I get. I get X marks the spot. I can just see he's going to do this again. It's awesome. And he's now not in contempt because he showed up. That's what they said. Yeah.
And House Rep Moskowitz. Yeah. I was watching an interview with him, and he's based on a Midas Touch today. He basically says, I prepare for all sorts of things. And he had something ready to go for when the pearl clutching started happening in comparing Hunter Biden with a child molester. And it was that poster of Trump and Epstein.
Right.
We want to talk about child molesting, do we? Here we go. What do I get?
Yeah.
When I just pull a card, I get 2 of Pentacles. So basically, careful what you wish for because you might get it. And now that you got it, what the hell do you do with it? Because it's kind of like they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't.
Yeah. It's like we're not intelligent enough to know what to do. And we didn't think you were going to do that. So we don't have a backup plan.
Exactly. He calls their bluff. And the beauty thing is he doesn't act like a Democrat. You know, a Democrat would say they would negotiate it. Okay, fine, I'll be behind closed doors and I'll be all nice and do what you want. Yeah. He just drops in on them and let's testify in public. And they know what to do with them.
I know. It's
and
wonderful.
Apparently, when Marjorie Taylor Greene started to, it was about her turn to talk, he got up and walked out.
It was the best thing in the whole world. It was. And all the cameras left with him.
Yes.
Yeah. And she was just all pissed because that was going to be her moment, and how dare he walk out on her?
Yeah, definitely. And Marina was saying that we think she's kind of hot for him, actually. you know.
I would agree. It's that middle, that you know how she's a mean girl and she's like
Yeah.
got the mentality of a middle school girl or a junior high
Yep.
school girl. It's like
Yep.
that. The harder you kick them, the more you embarrass them. It's because you like them and you don't know how to
You don't know how to express
constructively
it.
show those
Yeah, yeah.
feelings.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And I
What'd you
love
pull, Marina?
well, what I got was the shield.
Okay.
So they're Hunter is very protected in this. He knows what he's doing. He can deflect what is coming his way. They can't, because when it's being tossed at them, they drop the shield so that they could say, come on. Yeah, not the brightest bulb on the Christmas tree. That's for
and
sure.
you know, wasn't it the same day that everybody didn't like it because Johnson didn't do what they wanted, so we're going to walk out?
Oh.
And my husband wrote me, a note, and he says, "Oh, look, they don't want to play anymore. They're all leaving again." So, it just goes from one shit show to another.
It does. It does. And apparently that, oh, hey, Tara, ass backwards. Apparently there is talk of getting rid of Mike Johnson.
Yes.
Who would have thought?
Well, I would like to know
there.
I would like to know the answer to this question. There are several moderate Democrats that say they will keep him.
Yeah.
And I want to know if that's true. If it came to that. Do you think
I just threw on that one. That's one of the readings coming up tonight. And little sneak peek. I think he gets this. I think he gets this budget through. Yeah. And I think he gets both budgets through, and the GOP is going to try and oust him.
Right.
For that. Probably after the first one and before the second one.
Okay. So it looks like there's a club of Democrats that say, we don't really like this guy, but we're not going to stall this shit anymore for 6 weeks. Like, you know how long it takes to have them elected. So is that what you kind of felt too, David? That maybe okay.
Yeah. What I got from it, and this is it kind of duplicates the last reading I did. This kind of isolates the Freedom Caucus.
Yeah.
And they don't like that, so they're gonna take their marbles and they're gonna try and force him out. Biden, he probably has already talked with Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, and they will protect Mike Johnson through the budgetary deals and the funding for Ukraine and Israel.
Because they want what they want. Sure.
After that, if the Republicans want to drive the clown car over Mike Johnson, well, that's on them. But they will provide him cover for actions around the budgets.
Okay.
Yep.
And Marina, you got the whole.
I got the whole. This is. That's the black.
That's the Freedom Caucus. They're all holes.
The place where things go to disappear forever and ever and ever. So, I think you're right, David. That's probably what they'll do. And I said this to my son as we were coming home today. I still believe that Hakeem Jeffries is going to be Speaker of the House before November.
I was
for the election.
I think Sterling might have mentioned that in his broadcast this weekend, and
really?
I was listening to Kim from Intuit View, and somebody asked that. It was one of the two of them saw it, and the other one saw an opportunity, not necessarily a probability, but the opportunity.
Yeah,
and I think, and that feels right. It feels like Johnson's going to be gone, and that is an opportunity that Hakeem Jeffries, with the support of just a handful of moderate Republicans, could get put in there. And at the risk of having to find a drink, there's also a former Democrat who's not currently in office that is definitely an anti-Trumper that the conservatives would love to have as House Speaker, that my adoring fans, most of them can't stand. But there's also the opportunity to bring in like a Liz Cheney to be a House Speaker. And she's at least shown she's not willing to flush the country down the pathway of an authoritarian government. So
yeah, she actually said she'd vote for Biden at one point. I heard her say that.
Yeah, she did. No, she sees Trump very much as a threat to democracy, which he is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a lot of things complain that. The other reading I really need to do, because somebody asked, was what's Trump's health going to be like in the next 6 months? Because if something happens to, imagine he gets the Republican nomination and then sometime in June, July, he has a heart attack or he strokes out, and people are now concerned about that. Liz Cheney doesn't need to now register in battleground states to take away the battleground states from him, because his numbers and his polls might plummet because he can't go out and stump. And then at that point, if Johnson's gone, she can go take Johnson's spot and just maintain the status quo in Congress until the elections are over. There's all sorts of stuff that can happen. It's wild.
Well, and there's a lot of astrologers that we that are in the chat and on this, and they're saying April. And they've said that for a long time. And even what's his name that Cash Peters said he saw Trump laying in the dirt in gravel. Yeah, whatever that might mean. So
absolutely. I heard somebody say deflated. I remember somebody saying, like, in the summertime, he's just absolutely deflated. And Lord knows if it could be court cases, health. Who knows?
Well, he's so inflated, he's ready to explode, and he does explode quite often in his diaper. So I absolutely, and I know those civil trials. Did you hear his rant yesterday about how the DA of New York sent the oil companies to Texas in 1989? I mean, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. He doesn't really know. So it's kind of strange.
No, he doesn't. Yeah. Well, 45 show up at the E. Jean Carroll case.
Absolutely. He is on. If there's a crowd of media there, Washington, D.C. or New York, you better believe he's going to be there.
Yep.
This is like 3 hours. There it is.
Yeah. And he's probably going to say again that he didn't do anything wrong. Yep. The emperor.
Got my justice
card.
No,
it's justice. Okay.
He's gonna show up to the court case, and I've gone on this a couple of times. That man does not know when to shut the hell up.
No,
he just doesn't. And I threw it on my community page because he was saying, "I want to go to that court to let him know that I don't know who this person is." It's like, dude, you are right on the edge of defamation again. And were I a reporter, who might be a shit disturber and snarky, I would just bait him. Really? So does it bother you that you have to pay her $5 million and maybe another $5 million? Do you think she deserves that? And then just let him go at that point. No, it wouldn't take much.
No, that's the thing that you can always depend on Trump to do is if you want him to highlight what he has done, or to draw attention to what is at fault with him, is tell him he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I get hot springs. God. This is he's in hot water. He's in hot water, and it's not the kind that he enjoys. So let him go. Let him have his say. And if I were her lawyer, I'd have the paperwork for the 3rd defamation suit ready to hand to him as he's leaving.
It literally.
Melania, she already got mad at him because she wants money. She wants her whole thing renegotiated, her prenup, because E. Jean Carroll's getting all that money that she should have gotten. Yeah.
Exactly. Wow. Yeah. Wow. And who gives a fuck about E. Jean Carroll?
That's right. Thanks everybody for being here.
He was making noises about wanting to go to the first case, but he didn't go. And I believe that was the time that he flew to Scotland expecting to get invited to the Queen's funeral or the coronation
or something like
that.
That's right.
And he didn't get invited, so he said he had to go home to protect his reputation. And the judge said, "Oh, you're coming home and you want to testify? Okay, I'll give you an extra few days." And then it's like, "Oh, I really didn't mean you." Kind of like Hunter Biden. I didn't really mean for you to take me up on that offer.
On that offer.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Exactly. Wow.
Yeah. So I just want to make mention that to everybody that's come in since we started, thanks for being here with us. And
Absolutely.
I'm glad that you all realize that this is what we do on this show. We're very snarky and we have a lot of fun that way. And we hope you do too. So yeah. Thank you. All right.
It's a little bit of comic relief, because you know what? There's so much stuff that is out there that can be a little too much to handle, that sometimes the best way to handle it is poke fun at it, make fun of it. And
the dark humor takes the edge off. It keeps you from crying.
So I'll say, listen, bitch, don't waste a drop of energy trying to change someone else. Just live with what you got. There you go. There's some good snark for you.
Yeah, perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
So Geek wonders about Ivanas. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was going to say, I was glad he spelled the name right, because I have a number of people asking about Ivanka's grave. She's not dead yet. She's just resting.
Do you think I think we've pretty much I felt like she was it was a hit job.
Oh God. A lot of things don't make sense.
Right.
And given the timing, given the actions, and who's been involved in the actions, I'm not big into conspiracy theories, but there's a bit of smoke around this one. And from the tripping down the stairs when she has an elevator, to her being cremated very quickly, to Donald Trump making all the decisions when he's not even her latest husband.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
None of it makes sense.
None of it makes sense.
And given the other thing, what she was about to be released from a non-disclosure agreement.
Yes. Yeah. I think she was like 2 or 3 days.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did not realize that. Thank you.
Doesn't that just complicate things a whole ton? And she's the one in like their divorce that he had a copy of Mein Kampf on his nightstand by his bed. I don't suppose he read it. He probably put it under his pillow to absorb the information via osmosis.
Yeah.
But
Exactly. And for a woman that was cremated, her coffin was extremely heavy. It took 12 guys? And you could tell they were struggling with it. That's a lot of weight for a skinny woman who was cremated.
Now, for somebody who has actually carried a coffin, they are heavy, and the handles aren't exactly the easiest.
Right.
Why would you need a coffin?
Like lead. This has a lead. It was a lead coffin. Yeah. So,
but you wouldn't need a coffin for an urn.
No.
Much less a fancy one.
So what's in there? Yeah. That's a very good question. Yes.
Yeah. Shelby Lisa says, I'm a funeral director. There seems to be something weird about the whole situation.
Yeah. Thank you, Shelby.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for weighing in on that. Yeah. That's very important to note. Wow.
There is something hidden inside that coffin that he knows he can get access to.
Right. And nobody else can.
Right.
Yes.
Including some of those Jeffrey Epstein videos with young girls, maybe. Who knows?
PP tape. The PP tape's in there.
PP tapes. That's right.
Anything is possible.
I mean, let's face it, of all the things, the one bit of dirt that we want on Donald Trump is we want the PP tape and we want it to be true.
Yes. Yes. Very much.
We can forego the Stormy Daniels money laundering case or whatever. We want the PP tape.
Yeah. Of course, Trump said something about that, didn't he? Melania knows that I don't like that. Something about that. I remember a while ago.
He's a germphobe. He's a germphobe, so it makes sense that he wouldn't do that. But the way I've heard it explained is when you have a couple of teenage prostitutes, and teenage prostitutes would barely be child sex trafficking,
Right.
young girls in child sex trafficking, what they did was they took them to a room where Obama slept on the bed, and the two girls stood over the bed and peed on it while he was standing on the other end of the room. And tell me that doesn't sound like something he would get a kick out of, because it's young girls and they're peeing on Obama. It's like, you know, if he drank a beer, just give him a beer to go with it, and it's the perfect trifecta.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was Jasmine Crockett that Marina and I was saying kicked ass during that. That's I couldn't remember the name. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. We got a lot. I got a lot of comments that I haven't even looked at yet. So
yes, excellent comments. And yeah.
So Kristen says, was Jack Smith brought in to play a bigger game than we thought? The cover-up been to go after Trump, but he sure has been exposing the Supreme Court and the money sources behind it. What do you think?
I think my guess is he was brought in to cover the Trump trial and to quarterback any information that he came across that came out of it, with the expectation. I think the more that they investigated, the more they realized how huge this was. And I think Garland realized he was out of his league, and he was given an opportunity to bring in a special counsel who could handle something that big.
Yeah.
That's kind of my vibe on it.
He's really great as far as I can see. I mean,
and
the man is.
That's why this is taking so long, because
it is. Yeah. You're right.
You can't find the edges, because if you stop it, then it's like trying to get cancer and you have to get the clean edges on the sides. If you cut it through the middle, you got a big chunk of it, but you didn't get rid of it, and they're trying to get rid of it.
Well, it's the love potion that the Department of Justice needed. There you go.
Exciting and new.
Yes. I get. Yeah, he is going to identify where the thieves are.
That's awesome.
And wherever that takes him, whether it's just Trump or whether it leads in other directions.
Oh yeah, Jordan and Green and all the others. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We should look at though Fani and her boyfriend, because that was really screwed up. So in case you don't know, Fani, is the Georgia AG. Yeah. She hired a man that she was with, her like a boyfriend, and gave him a really good, salary for being there. And now I hope that doesn't. Do you think that's going to ball everything up? I don't know.
That was actually this morning's reading. One of them.
Oh, was okay.
Personally, for David, David personally here, I kind of get it that there's a code of ethics that district attorneys, lawyers, stuff like that have to go through, and it kind of follows under that. If there is an appearance of a bias, you have to recuse yourself, and it just. I don't think it impacted the case. I don't think it impacted. I think he's probably quite talented, and it didn't impact the case. It just so happens they were also starting a relationship, and this gave an opportunity to work together, and maybe the romantic part entered into it, maybe it didn't. But the problem is there's going to be an appearance of shenanigans. So I think what will end up happening is two stages. One, he will probably be removed. And if the outcry doesn't go away, she might have to step down as the prosecuting attorney on that. And then somebody else gets brought in to take her place. And I got a King of Swords on that one as an underlying card. And the King of Swords is my Jack Smith card. So I think it would be somebody like a Jack Smith coming in to take her place. I don't think, when I did throw on it, I didn't see the case being dismissed, because that's they've already got guilty convictions. They've got all this evidence. Just because the district attorney made a poor life choice and hired her boyfriend, and maybe was having some fun workplace harassment going on, doesn't mean the case is null and void.
Well, that's good, because how they twist and turn sometimes, and so I get here that the right thing will be done, that the moral compass, maybe the next right thing. That's what I get. How about you, Marina?
Yeah.
Oh, upside down.
Well,
I
yeah.
get fire.
Where this book
And
is
I
fire.
also get flower. This is something. I think a lot of this is not really necessarily based on fact. I think someone maybe they went out to dinner one time, maybe they did something and they have blown it into something much bigger than it is. I think Fonnie Willis impresses me as the kind of woman who wouldn't do something that stupid, who would be aware of the optics.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So
Yep.
That's kind of what it feels like somebody just took something that was very, very innocent and made it into something very salacious.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So
you don't think Fonnie will be you think she'll be replaced or he will be replaced?
I think both. I think I don't think it'll be at the same time. I think they might remove him as a first step, and then it could be determined if that was enough or not enough. And I really don't think it impaired her judgment or this case at all.
No.
And I know I've heard people. I didn't want to read on this one yesterday, but it was just kind of something folks were asking about. My first thought was it sounded like they were the Trump team was grasping at straws. And when I looked at an article on it, I read on it because I didn't want to read on it. And I don't want to get into that. Oh, I can't possibly read on my heroes because that would be bad. It's like, no, you got to hold them accountable too. And the story I was reading was suggesting that while there's no official relationship, folks around both offices, his and hers, have acknowledged that something's going on between the two of them. Now, is that under oath? No, but
right.
I'm hoping the reporters that reported on that article, and I don't go to weird sources. I tend to go to mainstream media sources. Usually, they would have confirmation on something like that before printing it. So I tend to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. I think he might go, but I have a feeling that she would dig her heels in and say, "Oh, hell no. What I do in my private life is my business. I can sleep with whoever I want because I'm an adult and I can make those decisions.
That's very true.
This case has got nothing to do with who I sleep with. So, no, I'm digging my heels in. I'm the right person for the job. This is what I'm going to do." Now, that's my impression. I could be totally wrong about that. And, I will stand to be corrected, but that's kind of I think she's too smart for that kind of crap. She's not going to fall into the trap.
But David's right. I hate it when they're pulling down our sheroes or our heroes. Because even today, Letitia James went out and was talking, and she's very kind for somebody. She says, "I don't care about anything that happened, that's been said about me or done about me or whatever. I'm just glad that justice was served." And I really get the impression that she's very professional in the same way with Fonnie, that she seemed to be that way. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
And, you got to ask yourself too, so she's been working on this case for a while. So when did this guy come out? And we hear about this story the same time that we hear about her being subpoenaed in his divorce proceeding.
Right.
Yeah. Didn't anybody pick up that there was something going on between the two of them before she got the subpoena? Like there was no chit chat, by the water cooler that this could have come out. And just as she's getting ready to go and do her thing, now it comes out. I don't know.
Yeah. I get it. I totally get it. Yeah. Wow. All right. So let's see what else we got here. Okay, we got that one. Whoops. What was this? Oh, the Epstein. What are you thinking about that? Are we going to see any videotapes of Bill Clinton with little girls?
Clinton specifically?
Well, it's not just him. It could be Trump.
It could be lots of people.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton has a really interesting point of view on it. First off, dude, by the time Bill Clinton was getting on the airplane with that guy, folks knew what that guy was up to. So 6 times or so on his airplane, it's like, Mr. President, you need to do better than that. That being said, his comment was, I had a Secret Service security detail with me the whole time. And I would like to believe the Secret Service security detail would not allow him to get close to people they don't know who he's getting close to. The other thing is the testimony of two of the girls, now adult women, but in the Ghislaine Maxwell case, I think it was. But basically, they said he was like that uncle who liked to joke around with you, and he was goofy and silly, but they never got a creepy vibe off of him.
Off Clinton?
Yeah.
Okay.
Off of Clinton. So to me, it's like, he would be at the table, and Epstein might put a couple of young girls around him, like 14, 16-year-old girls around him, to see if he could snag Clinton into the club and then blackmail him. And Clinton either understood what was knew what the assignment was, and just had a fun time just messing with these girls, kind of like I would if I was at my brother's house talking with my 17-year-old niece.
Yeah.
Giving her a hard time, telling dad jokes, and just being goofy because you can.
But there's nothing sexual or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, the hard part is, if you've been on that plane more than once, especially as you get into the mid to latter 90s, if it's in the mid 80s, the early 90s, you may not know, but you got to know that the word was spreading about this guy and what he's up to.
Absolutely.
So the more times you're on that plane, the later on in the game you are, the more guilty you are. Clinton, I get the King of Pentacles. It's a lot of value, wealthy person, powerful person, looking at things, evaluating things. I don't think so. Monica Lewinsky was young, but she wasn't 14.
That's right. She was in her, like 23 or 22 or something. Yeah. Yep.
Totally.
No, I'm with it. Yeah.
I get he was the majestic whale. He was the big prize that Epstein wanted, and Clinton was a bullshitter, right? And there's one thing that you can't do is you can't bullshit a bullshitter, because they're on to you. So I think that he took the precautions that he needed to, and just kind of like cat and mouse. Yeah, you want to play with me? I'll play with you. It's okay. Let's do this. So he would have been the big catch, but no.
I find it interesting that you picked a whale, because he did leave sperm on Monica's dress. So I think he learned a lesson. I think he learned a lesson with that one. But look what I got. I got cosmic effery here.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It could very well be that he partook in some women there. I just don't think they were under 18.
No.
Right. And there were women that were between, I believe, 19 and 25 that were masseuses and things like that. Yeah. Here we got a really interesting one from Rose Blue. Have you all ever looked at Vegas bookies bets on anything 45? I wonder, that's a wonderful question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not.
I haven't.
Yeah. That is really wonderful.
Yeah. Have
you looked at it, Rose? What are the odds of Melania leaving him before November?
What do you mean, she hasn't already left him?
Oh, well, I think they're certainly living different lives. It's just when does the official paperwork go in?
Yep.
Yeah, and we were discussing earlier, David, about the fact that Trump is trying to get out of showing up at the E. Jean Carroll trial, because he has to attend his mother-in-law's funeral.
Yes, because they were so
The judge said, "You don't have to be here. It's okay."
Yeah.
Well, was he trying to get out of going, or was he trying to get it delayed?
Probably.
I think he was trying to get it delayed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember somebody saying he was trying to get something delayed. I thought it was the New York civil trial they were referring to on that one. I haven't followed that one. I don't know what the context is. I think with Trump, it's all about the delay, but it's also all about the grift. And you've got all those cameras there, and I think he'll be pissed off, especially after the civil trial.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw an article today saying, and I forget the source because I didn't really look at it, so I can't vouch for it. So this is purely gossip. That allegedly he was practicing his little 5-minute speech for a while, for weeks. So I don't know if that's true. That was just thrown out there, and it was in some news source somewhere. And it's like, oh, that's interesting. Whether it really means anything other than he intended to do it anyways.
Well, remember, he still thinks Barack Obama is the president.
Well, he's going to get to World War II anyways.
Yes.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. And the ramparts red glare during the Revolutionary War with the airports and also the Yosemites. Remember the Yosemites when he talked about not Yosemite?
Yes.
The Yosemites. Oh my God.
Who were serving Kofefe at the time.
Those puppy boys. Now, I think he'll show up at the E. Jean Carroll thing just because, just like his little 5-minute speech that he practiced, he's practiced his "I don't even know that woman's" speech, and somehow he thinks that's going to convince people. But there's just going to be a gaggle of cameras, and I keep getting the star card with these things. It's like he has to go there and be the star of the show.
Yes, he does.
This is This is literally his narcissistic last gasp at fame, because life is going to take a giant poop on that guy this year.
Yeah.
Oh,
I totally agree.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see it happen. I really can't. And
there's a lot of us that feel exactly the same way, even though I don't ever wish harm or anything on anybody. I never do. Especially I try to really live in my integrity as being a spiritual person. But there are just some things that it's hard to forgive. You can't forgive some of these things he's done that have hurt so many people. And what is it today? It was reported that 17,000 people took his suggestion to take hydroxychloroquine, and they died. And I'm saying, well, what about the other millions of people that if you inject some bleach, then just a little bit, and I mean, he that's a war crime to me. It really
is not doing anything or not reacting quickly enough to COVID. Right. Absolutely.
And saying it's going to go away in a month or so, just like it came in.
As soon as the weather gets warm.
I mean, And people really believed, especially, what was it? Who was the guy that was the African-American guy that went to Oklahoma to one of his rallies, and he ended up dying like a week later? He was, I can't. It's not bad.
Oh, yeah. I know who you mean. And boom, the name is gone.
Yeah, but that it was soon after that, and he's saying, "Oh, it's no big deal." But that guy was at that open air or in a building, right in the middle of all that. So, did you listen to the argument for on Tuesday?
Yes.
Yes.
Does that guy? It took me a while because his voice really grated on me. It's Alex Jones, man. He has Alex Jones as his lawyer.
Or that Robert Kennedy.
Exactly like him.
Well, I don't know. I'm just telling you the way I see things.
I know. It's Robert Kennedy.
Red.
Yeah.
And I love how he can't answer the question.
I love the way that the Judge Pan got him to.
Yes.
Oh my God, she was brilliant. And they really do believe that. They believe that he is above the law, and they believe he could do anything.
Well, unless he's impeached, impeached and convicted.
Correct.
But you can't impeach and convict someone if they have immunity. So this is it's kind of like, remember the old song about there's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yep. And the whole thing, and why you can't do what you can't do, and ultimately it's because I can't do that because there's a hole in the bucket. It's like going round and round and round. You can't have it both ways.
Right.
Either he is or he isn't. And saying, well, yes, but with consideration.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. And I had said yesterday, you know what? I think that if the prosecutors got up there and cleared their throats and said, a reading of Dr. Seuss, Cat in the Hat, or whatever. They'd still win because the argument was so stupid.
Yeah. The Herman Cain, Puppy Dog Diesel was on it. It was Herman Cain was the black fellow that passed.
Yes,
that's right. Thank you. That was horrible. That was horrible.
The thing that I just find absolutely stunning, because it's just so simple. It's like, okay, fine, give Trump absolute immunity. Joe Biden will, and I would have loved if the judge had followed up with, okay, so if Joe Biden says SEAL Team 6 after his political opponent, that's okay then, according to you.
Yeah, right.
And if the House, if he, takes out a few members of political opponents in the House and they don't vote to impeach, then what you're saying is he cannot be held criminally accountable. Exactly. He can declare himself president for life and then transfer it to Kamala.
That's right.
Yeah. Your client doesn't even need to show up. He doesn't even have to worry about being on the ballot because there are no ballots. Joe Biden is now king of the United States.
He can pardon himself. That's right. That's right.
The man who came in, David?
Yes, David. The New York City people are sick and tired of him. They hate the man, And he said he was going to, do you think this will happen? He said he was going to rent out the garden, the Madison Square Garden. And that he would have people. I want to know, do you think he'll do that? I would really love to know, because I'd love it if TikTok did what they did to him that time. They bought out they ordered all the seats, remember?
Yes.
The cackle is just, it really would depend on his mental state and how out of it he is. If he has any cognition whatsoever, the answer is, if he does it, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
It will, there'll be like 100 people showing up. I remember when he was being indicted on those first federal things for the campaign finance fraud for Stormy Daniels. What, like a dozen people showed up?
Yeah.
Yes.
And only one guy showed up and would had a mask on and wouldn't talk to the reporter without being only his eyes being exposed. It's just like, no, they're not gonna show up for him.
It's just like, I love the press conference with Rudy Giuliani. Oh, there it is. Show him. Oh, yes, the naked man.
The naked man.
Dear.
The naked man.
Please.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah, it's he would if he thought that he was going to bring a lot of people, but no, it's not going to work. And I think one of the reasons it would never work is they would want their payment ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, here.
The biggest crowd you could ever imagine in the history of all time would be there.
He would be better off just trying to fill up the lobby of Trump Tower, and then he'd go to the top of the escalator and shout down at people from there. He would be much better off with that, and it'd be a lot cheaper too.
Yes.
But no, I still think he'll show up for the trial, because there's going to be a ton of reporters there and cameras, and he's going to want to get his message out that he doesn't know who that person is. So how could he defame somebody he doesn't know and then promptly defame her again? You were asking about his lawyer. I imagine his lawyer has.
I am innocent. Yeah, that's what he kept saying to Aragon. Yeah. I'm an innocent man. This is a hoax perpetrated on me, and whatever it was. Yeah.
She's got a stack of papers that it's like you fill it in. It's like, on date, he said the following.
He goes downstairs from being indicted for doing it. And he says he didn't do it and that she lied and this and that. And he gets in trouble again. And he'll just keep doing that until, you know, because he doesn't
know when to shut up.
Yeah.
He just, you know, it's the definition of insanity.
Absolutely. Yes.
And that's exactly what he is doing. Was I'm just going to keep repeating what I've been saying. Sooner or later, everyone's going to believe me. No.
Yeah.
And yes, Shelby Lisa, David is awesome. And for those of you who do not know, go and check out David's channel, Tarot by the Bay.
He only needs 3 more to get to 5,000. So maybe you can
Oh
put
my
it
God.
I'm not that close, am I?
Somebody said that in the chat. Somebody said
really?
that. In the chat.
Oh, get out of town.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to say is, I want to say that Gerald just posted an update on our community member, Deb H. So if you get a chance to see that. Yes.
Good.
Yeah, because we're coming up on the top of the hour. But yes, I am so glad. So we have this show. Marina, Val, and I have this show every other Friday night, and we all host. And Val is not here because she's in Cancun, poor thing. And so we invited David to be with us. And what a great choice. See, you filled up all the snark. There you go.
Yeah, if only I had show up on time. I'm so embarrassed.
You made up for it. You're fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about this before we leave. Yep. Politicians always want the Black vote, and we are the saviors. When will Black people receive well-deserved reparations in this country?
That's a really good question. And I think the thing is that whoever champions this idea, and I do think it will get championed, they need to define to people what reparations means. Now, we all know typically reparations, we knocked down your house, here's a bunch of money to fix it. And I think that's one of the reasons why you have a bunch of white people, especially maybe not as wealthy white people in the South, that the thought that somehow the government's going to give every Black family $1 million or something like that. And then, they're all going to move to the wealthy part of town and they're going to own everything. It frightens the bejesus out of them. One thing I did hear for reparations was like, low cost loans for starting a business. Maybe there would be scholarships for going to college. It's stuff that you can do that if you don't want to work, you're not just going to get a pile of money dropped in your lap. You're right. But if you want to show some initiative, there would be extra incentives. And I think that would be amazing. Overdue. Absolutely. And, even that's probably not fair enough for everything that the Black community has had to go through.
That's very true. And for years, I saw tonight that I think it's Ava DuVernay was working with a show called Origins, and it talks a lot about the African-American persecution really that lasted for almost 300 years and still in some way still exists. And it looks like it's going to be a very good documentary. But I think you're right. I think what I got was the cauldron, and what I'm thinking of is that we need to come up with a recipe for what gets put into the cauldron to make up for and make those reparations. And yet we're seeing, total turning back on everything, including in Escambia County, Florida. They have just banned the dictionary as a book.
I've been seeing that. Is that true?
Apparently, yes.
It is. And so you can't find anything more stupid than that to me. I mean, there's a lot of stupidity and there's a lot of ridiculous things that are being done, but that makes no sense. I mean, that just makes no sense.
I can understand them banning the Urban Dictionary, but the dictionary.
Yeah.
You got Hitler, Mussolini, Funk and Wagnall, all the great destroyers of society.
Yeah. Exactly. I think scholarships is good. I think guaranteed home loans would be wonderful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Shelby Lisa says she lives in Florida and she homeschools her kids because I did that when I lived in Texas. I did. I could not deal with the Texas book committee.
No.
And of course I couldn't live there now anyway. It was too hard for me.
Yeah.
But
no, I think
I have a question for Shelby. How do you get your kids to listen to you for homeschooling? I couldn't think of. I mean, my ex-wife was a very bright woman and is a teacher now, but you know, the thought of her homeschooling, I'm sure she considered it, but you can't get the kids to listen to you on a good day. How the hell do you get them to study?
Well, I couldn't homeschool my daughter because she was very ornery. She did everything was an argument, but my son was okay. So I really think it depends on the kids. And if you can get other people to work in coordination that are homeschooling and you could share the load,
yes,
sometimes that works out too.
And she did that with a neighbor, the next door neighbor. Her son was my son's age. He was autistic, and he would just melt down and stuff like that. Now, the other tale out of school was my first wife and I were both lifeguards and swim instructors. I've taught hundreds of people how to swim. My kids would not let me or my ex-wife teach them how to swim because we're just mom and dad. What the hell do we know?
Yes.
I had to pay somebody to teach my kids how to swim. I was a high school and collegiate swimmer. I taught swim lessons for years, lifeguard for years.
This is the mentality. Yeah. It really is. And that's another reason why I overeducated my own self, just to have the validation that nobody could give me any crap about doing what I was doing because I had this degree, but what really I didn't need in a lot of ways. Yeah.
I guess at the end of the day, I'll take some solace. If you're familiar with Joe Montana, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback for the 49ers. He had to pay to have a coach his kid on how to be a quarterback because his kid wouldn't listen to him. So I'm not the only one who deal with this. Yeah, the pain is real.
We're in good company. We're in good company.
And here's I spoke to an educated man who claimed the Florida school system was turning kids against parents by making math too difficult. Oh my God.
That's always been part of the plan. You can't trust anything having to do with math and numbers.
Well, because remember, you can't trust anybody over 30. Remember from the 60s?
Where's that Barbie doll? Where's the forbidden Barbie doll?
That's right.
Math is hard. Oh,
absolutely.
You know, I can actually appreciate his point of view on that. My daughter's very smart, but decimal points were kicking her butt as a little girl, and she would be in tears. And it's just like,
well, there's a very good reason why I was an English major.
Me too.
That's all I'm going to say on that.
Because the right side of the brain was stronger than the left.
That's right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I can do math in my head. If you ask me about exchange rates and how things, boom. I can do that.
But I can do taxes, but I can't do algebra. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. Wow. Well, I have had a wonderful time with you both tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Marina, as always. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks with Marina and Val on your channel, Marina?
Yeah, Val.
On Val's channel. But we simulcast, and that's what we're doing.
You got a calendar up there with all the...
She does. She's a Libra. And with a Capricorn rising. There you go.
Look at that.
She's very organized.
Color-coded.
Color-coded.
I need to keep myself organized. Otherwise, Yeah.
And David has his own channel, of course, but he also does every other week on Tuesdays on your channel, Marina, or do you switch?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah,
your channel.
I haven't been brave enough to host a StreamYard studio. I feel like I'm going to crash that thing right into the ground.
You'll do just fine. You have to practice. But anyway, they have Taco Tuesday, TALKO Tuesday. I think that's a wonderful play on words. That's wonderful.
Yes.
Yes. So yes, thank you, David, for being here with us and stepping up to the plate and seeing how much fun we we tend to have being snarky. So thank you.
Yeah, invite me back if anybody is like out. Please give me a call. This is fun. I like the snark. I like the sarcasm and just throwing it all out there, being all cursy word and stuff like that. It's
good. Well, you can come back anytime. Yeah, you can come back anytime.
Absolutely.
That's for sure. Yes,
Absolutely.
So, if you would like and subscribe to these lovely people's channels and my own as well. If you're on another channel, we just loved having all of you. Thank you for all the fun you've also given us. And we've had a great group. We've had over 200 people here tonight. And so
Nice.
that's fabulous. Yeah, that's fabulous. And I still don't have running water. So
what happened?
well, I didn't have internet at my house, so I came up here to be with my husband 3 hours north of Seattle, and I have frozen pipes now.
Oh no.
Traded one thing for another. Yeah. Oh, do you have a Republican brother, David?
Yes, I have my twin brother is still a registered Republican. However, he went to Etsy back in 2020 and he got a campaign sign that says, "I'm a Republican, not an idiot, Biden Harris."
Okay.
So
well, we love it.
My family is filled with never Trumpers.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's fabulous. That's fabulous. Oh, thanks, Anja. I know it's not a bad thing, but I remember when we first started doing this, people were like, "Oh, you guys, you're not being very nice tonight." And we just want y'all to know that this is really the only time we're as snarky as this. So anyway,
exactly.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. And thank you, David and Marina.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you.
Take care, all.
Yeah. Bye-bye.